It is day one of a government shutdown in D.C. with both Republican and Democratic leaders at a stalemate right now over how to move forward. Republican leaders have signaled they could hold more votes today as hundreds of thousands of federal workers across the country are now furloughed. Let's get the latest from Natalie Brand at the White House.
Federal workers across the country are facing a new layer of uncertainty, with leadership of both parties blaming each other for this shutdown and digging into their positions.
For the first time in nearly 7 years, the federal government shut down at midnight with no sign of how long it could last.
Well, it ends when the Senate Democrats pick this bill up, passed by the House of Representatives, and vote for it.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune has signaled there are ongoing conversations with rank-and-file Democrats in an effort to convince them to break with party leadership and support the GOP's short-term funding measure.
What gives us the ability to win this argument with the American people is we're standing for what they want with health care, and they are not.
Democratic leaders say they're standing firm that a negotiation has to address their concerns over health care cuts and extending enhanced health care tax credits under the Affordable Care Act.
We inherited this really bad health care system from the last days of the Biden administration. We want to fix it. We just don't want to shut down the government while we're fixing it.
The Trump administration's Office of Management and Budget acknowledged it's difficult to predict how long a shutdown will last and directed agencies to begin shutdown operations.
The Congressional Budget Office estimates 750,000 federal workers could be furloughed each day. Essential employees, including federal law enforcement, military service members, and TSA agents, are required to continue working without pay for now. Aaron Barker works for the TSA in Atlanta.
If it gets to that point where officers can't afford to come in or have to make a decision whether to purchase medication, pay daycare, or put gas in the car to come to work, they're going to have to make that hard decision, and no one really wants to do that.
President Trump has said the shutdown could also result in layoffs and cuts of programs that don't fit with his priorities.
As for the furloughed and essential employees, Congress is mandated to provide back pay once lawmakers do reach a deal. Now, in terms of services like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid payments, the U.S. Postal Service, student loans, agencies say those will all continue, as well as food assistance for low-income families and children. Programs like WIC and SNAP are expected to continue, but there is concern that they could be impacted if and when funding runs out, depending on how long the shutdown lasts. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Now, when the president was asked about the potential layoffs yesterday, he said a lot of people will be laid off who are going to be very affected. He has also indicated he wants to slash more government programs during the shutdown. Well, earlier this morning, we had East Texas Congressman Nathaniel Moran live on CBS 19+. He fielded questions on the shutdown, the impact of furloughs on East Texans, and why he's against Democrats' demands on health care provisions and funding that could ultimately impact rural health care funding here in East Texas. Moran told me he didn't seek a shutdown, nor do they save Americans money, but he didn't fear it. And he also weighed in on lawmakers still getting paychecks when the government is at a standstill.
I would love for our paychecks to be suspended. Right now, the Constitution does not allow for that. There's a constitutional provision that does not allow for members of Congress's pay to be suspended. Not only should members not receive their pay, but then when we come out of the shutdown, members should not get their back pay. I think it's ridiculous that we can't get these problems solved on the front end. We need to feel that pain.
And you can see that full interview with Representative Moran right after the noon show, airing on CBS 19+. Let's